What's up, chat? Happy Monday. Holy. Good day. It's a good day, right? Good day. It is 70 degrees and sunny out there, coming off the heels of Super Bowl Sunday, man. I hope you guys are having a great start to your week. It's the NBA All-Star Week. We've got 4 days, 4 opportunities to get rich or die trying. Shout out to 50, who's probably still upside down somewhere. Blood rushing to his head. Oh man, how we doing, chat? Happy Monday, man. I hope you guys enjoyed your weekend. Quite the weekend it was, indeed, man. That Super Bowl, bittersweet, right? My favorite player ever in the NFL, Odell Beckham, getting a ring, but at what cost, right? At what cost? Tears his ACL, yo. Brendan, appreciate the sub right off the bat. I think today's going to be a good day, man. We might even set some records. We just set some records on the PrizePicks stream in terms of viewership, and we might get there on this one as well if the trends go the right way. So I'll be looking vehemently at those numbers, man. I hope you guys are vibing with me today. We're going to be doing some research, chopping up all of the games on tonight's NBA DFS slate, a couple of high totals, couple of big spreads, and then we've already been hit with a few pieces of news, most notably Giannis Antetokounmpo being listed as doubtful for tonight. So definitely a chance to be a little bit different, man. But how'd you guys do? You guys enjoyed yesterday? You guys spent some time with your family? You guys spending some time with your bae today? Happy Valentine's Day. Me and more in the chat got her hooked up with some books and a cutesy little thingy yesterday. And might do some more tonight, right? What up, Lorenzo? What up, Spen Duck? Justin Brooks, Robert in the chat. Peyton says this is cool, but I'm ready for MLB. Oh, please. Please let it happen, and please let us not have to wait forever to get there. Give up a week or so of spring training, and let's go. What up, Matt? Quinn in the chat. Sean V. William Lewis. Yeah. What up, Brendan? What up, Jay Smooth? Skimmer says sub gun and DP took down the Yahoo Super Bowl Millie, but chopped with everyone and their mamas. And your Super Bowl squares busted too, bro. Super Bowl squares, where's Wilson at? His Twitter handle, I believe, is Black Crayon or something like that. My man won 2 different quarters for $900. 900 of the $1,500 prize pool went to Wilson. What? So he had a good day. So shout out to Wilson if you're out there. What up, Keith? Could have co-hosted today. What's good, Keith? You in the content creation market, man? Let me know. I'm always down to collab. Usually these bigger slates have been a little bit better off running solo, just because I can pace a little bit more, but I'm always game to add and help out content creators. Had to miss a show earlier. Any PrizePicks you're keen on? It's actually kind of a confusing PrizePicks slate so far. A lot of lopsided games, a lot of well-priced stuff that you don't get the warm and fuzzies to click on, but we ain't no punks, right? We're going to go after it. What are you going to do? Bay is in NBA DFS. Sadiq Bay. We can make the Valentine's Day narrative. Where's Denzel Valentine at these days? We'll put him in a card. Sadiq Bay. Kevin Love. What else we got out there? Help me out, chat. That's all I got. I can't think of any more, cutesy. I was gonna think Chris Archer, but he's a pitcher. I don't know. All of these. No, okay, that's all I got. What up, Kiefer? What up, Obi-Wan? You guys doing all right today, man? I hope you guys are killing it out there. Speaking of killing it, man, what a good weekend in the RunDFS.com VIP Discord. A lot of big hits. You guys know the legend of Always Be Placing, right? You guys, he's the guy that has won not one but 2 Millie Makers on DraftKings in the last couple of years. A NFL Millie Maker, a golf Millie Maker. Here and there, he hits 20Ks, 50Ks. He was at the live final a couple weeks ago at DraftKings. Got hooked up with Super Bowl tickets from DraftKings. While he's there, he wins 100K from Fanduel. And he's able to spend, what? I'm so happy for ABP, but Shout out to ABP for a 100K takedown on, I believe it was Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. I think it was Saturday. Huge, just huge. And then of course, there were plenty other success stories in the Discord, but that was kind of the marquee. Because what an incredible weekend to have. What up, Jesse? Corey Kisfer, maybe. What up, Rudy? Okay, buddy. Kisper. Okay, now I get what we're doing here. Josh Hart. All right, Josh Hart, Kevin Love. All right. Thoughts on Harrison Barnes over 8.5 first half points versus 6.5 full game points? I think we were on them both. I think with Harrison Barnes, he's such a deep minute guy that I would just want to grab as much minutes as I can to kind of soften, the risk. So I'd probably take the full, unless you thought it was going to be a blowout enough that Harrison Barnes is protected. But I don't know that that's ever happened, unless, going back to his like Warriors days, right? What up, underrated? Hey, Gunn, you think Portis over 8.5 rebounds at 107 is a good bet? I got it on my local book. Yeah, without Giannis? Yeah, sure. Why not? Why not? Christian Wood. There we go. We can get down with that. Christian Wood, part of the Valentine's Day narrative card. So Kevin Love, Christian Wood, Josh Hart, Denzel Valentine. You're not gonna play him, but man, I feel like there's gonna be more obvious ones out there. Bucks on back, Bucks are back on the board. All right, we'll take a look at that then. Shout out to that, Jason, for that call. Big shout out to ABP. Yes, ABP, the absolute GOAT, man. So positive vibes out there to Odell. Positive vibes out there to you guys. Football in the books, man. We'll see you back in 7 months, 6 months. And from here on out, man, we got 4 days of NBA to really grind. We got NASCAR this weekend. I got a birthday this weekend. I forget what date it is. Is it Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday.
Saturday. And then NBA comes back, and hopefully, knock on every piece of wood around. We get some baseball, and then we might get weird with it. We might have USFL, XFL coming up. USFL, maybe in the docket. Maybe that guy from Fortnite did the intro from Super Bowl yesterday. He's involved with one of those leagues, so maybe we get some DFS for that. That'll be fun. So it's not over until it's over, right? Let's move open into the breakdown screen. This one is brought to you by RunDFS.com. That's the place where we don't just play DFS, we run DFS, man. We are cultivating a community now with over half a decade of a community, and we thrive in the Discord, and we would encourage you guys to come be part of the action. Yeah, we got millionaires in there. That's cool, but we just got a bunch of cool dudes and cats and girls. No matter what your bankroll level is, as long as you ain't got an ego and you want to see each other be great, we welcome you into the crew, man. They are crushing it with sports betting, parlay betting, same game parlays, freaking prize picks, and then of course DFS. And every pass right now, built-in utility with a Fantasy Cruncher subscription. So go check it out. If you sign up 100 billion% get into the Discord. There is like 40 to 50% of active subscribers right now that are not in the Discord, and it's just like, it blows my mind, because this is like, there's some people that subscribe just for the Discord and don't even look at much else. But get in that Discord, man. I want to meet you guys. And then every day before lock, I'm in that voice chat for a couple hours, sometimes a little over, talking some picks, making some lineups, some player pools, reacting, digesting news, and then just shooting the breeze, right? A little fraternity we got going on there. Key news to watch via Underdog NBA. Make sure you're following them on Twitter. Shout out to Justin Fan. Giannis Antetokounmpo doubtful. Rudy Gobert questionable. Mitchell Robinson questionable. Monte Morris questionable. Eric Gordon probable. Javante Green questionable. Nerlens Noel questionable. Nothing else super staggering that we didn't already know. We know that the Nets might be a little hard to predict. So if you guys see information on what Steve Nash might do with that front court, Andre Drummond, LaMarcus Aldridge, Blake Griffin, Nick Claxton, guys like that, definitely share it with the class, but for the most part, no huge surprises today, as only 2 games happened yesterday, and everything else is pretty cut and dry. But it is a big slate nonetheless. So I expect more and more news to develop, and we've also seen in years past people use that week before the All-Star break to double down and get an extended mid-season rest. So you might start seeing some guys rest just to have extra rest and come back for the next half of the season. Y'all are well. Keldon Johnson Hart. Keldon Johnson. Okay. All right. Now I get it. It's the Johnson part that is all right. Woo. You guys. Hey, let's get those vibes going, right? We're already at 100 views and I didn't even what? Are we gonna do this? Are we gonna do this? Are we going to do this or not? 327. Look for that number today, chat. Share the stream and then hit those likes, man. 189 live likes is the goal. And if we can get over 327 viewers, we will raise this chat's jersey into the rafters. And then, we'll be right next to Matthew Stafford, Super Bowl champion, in the Detroit rafters, right? I went to the wrong screen here. Any thoughts on Bagley? Yeah, I don't know what to expect from that situation either. But hopefully, not hopefully, I do like Bagley, but the Pistons are just weird to grab like 8 bigs, right? So I don't know what to expect on Bagley's first night, but those are all stuff that we're either going to just have to wait and see, get some sample size behind it, or go off of some coach speak. And I haven't seen coach speak on what the Drummond Seth Curry first involvement will be, and same with the Pistons here. So let's start with the Pistons game, and let's go into it. Pistons at the Wizards, projected starting 5 for the Detroit Pistons: Corey Joseph, Cade Cunningham, Sadiq Bey, Jeremy Grant, and Isaiah Stewart taking on Raul Neto, Corey Kispert, Kentavious Caldwell Pope, Kyle Kuzma, and Thomas Bryant. 218.5 is our total for this one. 4-point spread in favor of the home team, Washington Wizards. The Wizards are still without Bradley Beal. Going to be without him for a hot second. And then also still without Daniel Gafford. They did insert Ish Smith into the mix, and then Kristaps Porzingis not available to play as of yet. So what we can do is kind of narrow down what we might like, what we might kind of like from the Wizards. They've been a source of perceptual value, I'll say, the last couple slates, and there's been some good clicks, but there's also been some risky clicks, some clicks that worked out that maybe shouldn't have worked out. But let's look at the last couple games here, and then let's also look at some numbers, right? We're all about the numbers. So Beal off the court. Let's take Dinwiddie off the court as well, and then might as well take Montrez off the court. We'll put Kuzma on the court. And I don't want to over dilute the minute sample size here for this talking point, so we'll leave it at such. 189 minutes of Kuzma in this split, a 26% assist rate, 25% usage rate, and a 28% defensive rebound rate, 1.16 DraftKings fantasy points per minute. And then what we like the most about this split is that Kuzma is expected to play a lot of minutes, probably leads the team in minutes, if not top 2 in minutes. Sans foul trouble, 35, 38 minutes his last 2 games. In a similar split, 46, 48 fantasy points, stuff in the stat sheet here. So at 8,600, if you take that 40 plus, I certainly believe that Kuzma profiles pretty well for that number. I got him for about 48 fantasy points from this far out, and I'm okay with that. Second to him, if we look at the rotations for the Wizards the last 2 games, understand the last game Ish Smith was available. He represented 19 minutes, but guys like Corey Kispert, guys like Danny Avdija, and Raul Neto still got theirs. 28 minutes for Neto, Kispert 35 minutes. So is it fair to suspect that Kispert might be top 2 on the team in minutes, and maybe we lean on him? Sure. His price point today on DraftKings, 4,100, still kind of reasonable against the Pistons defense that is pretty not good. So yeah, sure, maybe we get to some Corey Kispert as the number 2 option here. Neto versus Ish Smith. I'm not that enamored with Neto almost ever. I did like his assist rate in this split. maybe something to key in for some player prop bets here. But how often is Neto going to break the slate here at 4,400 with Ish Smith behind him here? 19 to 25 fantasy points, probably a little bit more of the expectation for me with his minutes. I guess there isn't a range of outcome where he does pop off for high 20s, but I would probably really need closer to 30 than 20 to feel like on this size slate is the right move. So maybe it would be contingent on the field ownership, but most of his production from a fantasy perspective is going to be hoping for 15 plus real points and then a couple peripherals. I think the assist is kind of the deal breaker. So I do like Neto assist prop. I think I saw it at 4.5. I don't mind attacking that, but I think Kispert and Kuzma are going to be the two for me. Thomas Bryant keeps picking up ownership and he keeps kind of producing 22 and 20 minutes his last two games. They've been easing him back from his injury. So without Montrezl Harrell, without Daniel Gafford, it's not like, okay, now you can play 35 minutes. But he's still been kind of heavily producing in those minutes. But I'm just never been a fan of glass ceiling with a minutes restriction. So I've been fading Bryant. It killed me that first night that Bryant was nutty, 10x that freaking 20 minutes of action against the Brooklyn Nets. But I stuck with my gun, stayed away from him on that Sacramento game. 24 fantasy points was easier to miss out on at 4,200. So at 4,500 today, if you're telling me 22 minutes is still the expected minute outcome for him, I'm probably going to sit this one out. 26 fantasy points. His per minute production is nuts, but I got to have those minutes, man. I got to unlock a true ceiling for really every position. And I don't know how often I'm going to regret $5,000 to $4,500 Thomas Bryant on a slate this size that also has some studs also at the center position. So it's really just Kuzma and Kispert for me from this far out. On the Pistons side, might spin the wheel on a couple of these names here. Cade Cunningham, Sadiq Bey, Jeremy Grant, all really, really cheap on Fanduel. And then Sans, Cade Cunningham on DK. These guys all have a shot at 30-plus fantasy points. Picking on this Wizards defense that will really, really suffer some big-time regression. Looking at the defensive efficiency so far on the season, Washington has plummeted to bottom 10 after a really, really hot start. So looks like this game should not have a lot of resistance when it comes to players putting up points and accruing fantasy points. I think the biggest question mark for me here is Marvin Bagley's involvement in his first game here. You wonder if they traded for him to utilize him, or does he just pick up those Trey Lyles minutes and play off the bench as a another Kelly Olynyk type player where he might be great per minute, but he might just get 17 minutes. So I'm a big Bagley truther. I love playing him when he gets full run, but this is one of those situations where we don't know until we know. And right now I don't know, but at 3,300, that is such a cheap price that it's tempting to see if they release some quotes to say that he might be a big part of this rotation going forward. If we expect him to be at least limited, Isaiah Stewart has been a rebound machine, and centers are terrorizing the Wizards right now, especially the when Thomas Bryant is on the court from a fantasy perspective. So if we can stretch Isaiah Stewart's minute projection to 25 plus, get close to 30, and also like his rebound prop, I think it was at 8.5. The better we feel about his minutes, the better I feel about those props individually. But when it comes to Cunningham, Bay, Grant, I'll probably just drive some wedges between the three and probably say no more than two of these three. And I think this game should be a pretty I'll say competitive source of moderate value, right? I'm not chasing a ton of ceilings, although there are some ceiling outcomes with Cade Cunningham, live to drop 40, 50 fantasy points. Kuzma, same. But for the most part, I'm expecting a moderate. I'll take that mid-30s, maybe get to 40 on a few of these guys. So I'll have them in the pool early on, and then we'll evolve as the slate progresses news-wise, Jason says Valentine's Day about some Josh Giddey. Everybody getting Giddey. Okay, all right. Cade Cunningham is a you deserve your views. The hardest working guy in the business. Cool as the other side of the pillow. Shout out to you guys for the love. But shout out to Stuart Scott, man. Cool as the other side of the pillow. He used to say that a lot during his highlights. I don't know if you guys, some of you old timers might may have noticed or maybe not noticed it, but I stole a lot of my early manner, not stole, but like Stuart Scott influences me a lot when I talk. When I was a kid, people watch whatever they want. I had to go to sleep with Sports Center blasting, like just like on the TV. And Stuart Scott was easily my favorite um, anchor. And just the small things he would do to spice things up, and that's how I've kind of modeled speaking in my adult years to keep it colorful. So shout out to Stuart Scott, cool as the other side of the pillow. Bartender Ish dropped almost 30 less minutes. I love Ish back. Yeah, I do like Ish Smith. If he's going to be unlocked, I don't know that there's a 0% outcome where Ish Smith doesn't start starting at point guard sooner or later. I think it's possible. But yes, he's an efficient journeyman grinder. I love him a lot. What up, Kate Johnson? Any thoughts on stacking Grant and Isaiah? So I guess if we put all the Pistons together and just get individual rates with Cade, Grant, and are you talking about Isaiah Stewart? I think Stewart's independent of just what his minute projection is, right? I don't think he's going to be a usage hog. I think he's going to be a big rebound guy and hope to clean the glass a little bit. But it's the Grant Cunningham Bay trio that I find a little harder to get right. When I put these three on the court at the same time, Grant leads the trio in usage. Cunningham 24%. That's on the full season. What about since, I don't know, January? Has Cade Cunningham evolved in usage rate? 24, 21, 25. So it's a little closer to Grant then. And then all those guys, just kind of a unremarkable about a fantasy point per minute, with Sadiq Bey actually leading the charge here and also leading the 3 in assist rate as well, right? What up, Elvin? Hit the like button. Will you be my Valentine? I just might. And Mo and Stewart be balling like me and Precious was, where he was hot right until the wheels. All right, I like it. All right, that's what I got here. Maybe people stop playing Kelly Olynyk. He's been over projecting and over owned really the last couple slates, and I think we can safely say that he didn't really benefit from Trey Lyles being gone, at least not from a minute standpoint, right? Watch this be the slate he pops off at like 4% ownership, right? Stu was the man. I remember when him and Trey was just getting started together, dude. Stuart Scott is just like he made. I don't know. I don't know. The butterfly effect. I always wonder if I would love sports as much if I didn't have someone like Stuart Scott to make it cool for me. Kings at the Brooklyn Nets. Project starting 5 for the Kings: De'Aaron Fox, Justin Holiday, Harrison Barnes, Mo. How could you be so heartless? There's like a stupid. I bet he would do that. Domantas Sabonis taking on Patty Mills, Seth Curry, Bruce Brown, Kessler Edwards, and Nick Claxton. Maybe. I'm not quite confident in the Nets projected starting lineup until it comes out. We got a 228.5 total, 2.5 point spread. Favor of the visiting Sacramento Kings. Kings on the other side of the tracks from a Tyrese Halliburton trade that still scratching my noggin on. But what we do know is that so far in the less than 50 minutes of sample size with Fox, Harrison Barnes, Sabonis together, those have been the big 3 for the Kings here. And we have seen Sabonis lead the trio in assist percentage, and Harrison Barnes and De'Aaron Fox also being leaned on for scoring here. So the Brooklyn Nets, I expect this to be a below average defense without Kevin Durant until Ben Simmons gets inserted into this lineup. But I don't quite know what to expect their rotation and their minutes to look like. I could see as much as a Blake Griffin DNP, right? And we know we got some sample size on Blake Griffin, Drummond on the court together. And then Drummond's really the question mark for me here. Could Drummond be the starting center for the Nets, at least in a spot like this where you don't have Kyrie Irving, and it wouldn't hurt to have a little bit of size against Sabonis, but they still have Claxton. They have LaMarcus Aldridge, who you might need for offense. Could LaMarcus Aldridge start at power forward? Yes. So there, I guess there's a lineup that could be Patty Mills, Curry, Blank, Aldridge, Drummond, or do you just let Claxton be the young guy and you know what I mean? Like there's so many outcomes that the Nets could throw out there tonight. So I would like some definitive news from the Nets, from maybe Steve Nash Because if you told me Drummond had a shot to be a 30-minute player against the Sacramento Kings, 30 minutes, 5,500 for Andre Drummond would probably be worth 8,000, 8,500. So that's something I can get behind. Even off the bench, if you told me he has a shot at 25, 30 minutes, maybe I'm more enamored, but I don't truly know what to expect from the Nets front court here. So if you guys got your ear to the ground, you hear those wagons coming in with the Steve Nash news, let me know, because Drummond could be the best play on the slate if he were to get some run here. If he doesn't, and he's just like part of a 4 or 5 way front court rotation, then maybe we can taper our expectations here. Patty Mills, Seth Curry. I'm curious to see how these two coincide here. Seth Curry has shown some pure point guard ability when opportunities that were given to him for Philadelphia. So you wonder if Nash gets a good look at him bringing the ball up court. They are going to have to play at least after games going forward without Kyrie. I think I read on Twitter earlier that it was like 8 games with Kyrie down the stretch for the rest of the season. So we might be looking to see if Seth Curry can be a point guard in those opposite games for now. And then on the Kings side, we ran the splits earlier, but I don't mind putting De'Aaron Fox, Harrison Barnes, as crazy as that sounds, and Sabonis into my PrizePicks cards, but also my Fanduel player pool. Early on the projection on Sabonis, I'm getting a 50. There's no resistance in the Nets front court. We are seeing a lot of success against them in the last couple of games. Harrison Barnes has been thriving in this new look Sacramento team, picking up more of the Halliburton and Hield absence than maybe we expected. And then De'Aaron Fox, you expect him to take 20 plus shots a game and be a real scorer. So I've got Sabonis for 50. I've got Fox for over 40 fantasy points. I think that'll coincide rather well at these price points. And then Harrison Barnes is the guy that you're a little bit more uncomfortable to click, just because we have a long-term history of him, being a little bit more volatile and sometimes not part of the offense. But he's stuffing the stat sheet lately, and he's scoring extremely efficiently, maybe overly efficiently, and we might project some regression coming. 7 of 9, 8 of 11, 4 of 7, 8 of 17, and 4 of 5 from 3 against Minnesota. But getting some peripherals as well to kind of raise his floor here. So, and then also the last 3 games, really, he's getting to the free throw line quite a bit. 9, 9, 12, 10, 9. So maybe that's the secret sauce to him getting those real points here. And maybe we got to look at some of these foul rates for the Brooklyn Nets here. But Barnes drawing some fouls here and stuff in the stat sheet to make him a shot at 40 plus fantasy points. Projection only gave me back 30, so I'm sitting on Sabonis 1, Fox 2, and then here and there some Harrison Barnes. And on the net side, I feel like from this far out, like based on the starting lineup, I could have as much as 3 nets in the pool to as little as no nets in the pool. And a lot of it really comes down to what do we think Drummond does, or what are they going to do with Andre Drummond, Elvis says, what are you thinking of Daddy and his value today? Thaddeus Young? Did they say he may not be in the rotation or something like that? I probably don't play him, if that's who you're talking about. Stu brought flavor to sports, bro. I loved it, man. Shout out to Stu. If Nick has his healthy rotation any night, scratch the bench. Dude doesn't mind. Yeah, Nick Nurse. Yeah, that's why I'm not running to expect much from Thaddeus Young. Mike says, if Drummond is the starter, lock it. I think that's what I'm going to have to lean on, Mike. And then at the same time, if Drummond's the starter, Sabonis could cook him. So wouldn't necessarily push me away from Sabonis, but there's not a Nets big that would get me away from Sabonis here, right? Drummond and Whiteside / Gobert news is vital for this slate. I agree with that, Doug. What up, Young C? What up, everyone? Hates Chris. Brendan, how about Cam Thomas with Patty Mills, Claxton if Seth Curry is not playing along Drummond? So you're thinking Seth Curry might play off the bench? That's not impossible. And then you would boost Cam Thomas. I think Cam Thomas has been corrected price-wise to where I'm not feeling like I'm getting a great deal. At least on FanDuel, 7K, maybe 5,700. I could still take 30 plus on DK, 20 plus real points. Yeah, maybe I could still get there. I do feel like Seth Curry, Patty Mills, Cam Thomas, all these guys that can contribute 20 plus real points. And then remember, LaMarcus Aldridge could be back in the mix here. It becomes a little bit more uncomfortable just because I likely need 20 real points out of them at this price point. But I don't think it's a mistake to be there. I think it really comes down to what Steve Nash tells us, what we believe, and what actually happens. So it might be one of those wait for sample size things. So like if I miss out on Thomas having 40, like I'm not gonna hate myself. It's the Andre Drummond that would sting the most, right? Because we know he should be 8-9K if he gets 30-35 minutes as a non backup, and that's the part where like, what are you doing with Drummond? What's the plan? And then of course, like I said, I joked about it, but we got a little sample size of Blake Griffin and Drummond on the court together. I don't know that we're gonna get a lot of overlap in this incarnation of those two being teammates, but we'll see. Stop going. What up, Patrick Reed? Back after a break from DFS. Hope everyone's doing great, man. Welcome back, Pat. Hope life is well, and yeah, recharged and ready to grind out to the All-Star break, man. Yeah, so that's what I got here. Remember, the Kings also got Trey Lyles, Jeremy Lamb, potentially Jeremy Lamb playing tonight, Justin Holiday, Dante DiVincenzo. So they have not been a, let's say, model of consistency when it comes to their minute rotation. So I don't want to get too crazy, too involved in some of these tertiary plays, but I feel like Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox should be safe for their usage and their minutes. Everybody else has a little bit of volatility just built in because it is the Kings. Next game on the docket, Knicks hosting the Thunder. Project starting 5 for the Thunder. Josh Giddey, Ty Jerome, Trey Mann, Darius Baisley, and Derek Favors up against Kemba Walker, Quentin Grimes, Evan Fournier, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson. A 207 total, 10-point spread in favor of the home team, New York Knicks. Couple of Q tags to sort out in this one. First of all, on the Thunder side, Lou Dort listed as out. And that's significant because we did see Josh Giddey exceed 30 minutes in that last outing. And, that was somewhat consistent with the quote that said that they expected Giddey to be around 30 minutes for a few games. Didn't know how long a few games was, but it looks like, it could have meant just a couple of games. And if that's the case, we know Josh Giddey will probably lead this team in just about everything when it comes to usage. Lou Dort's dealing with a left shoulder strain. And then notable by his absence on the other side, RJ Barrett, he is listed as out with a left ankle sprain, while front court, Mitchell Robinson is a sore left ankle. He's questionable. He exited Saturday's loss to the Blazers during the third quarter, played just 14 minutes. Nerlens Noel, left knee soreness. He's questionable. Cam Reddish Jr., sore right ankle. He's questionable. So the Knicks situation, I think if I had to grade what I actually care about, is Mitchell Robinson playing? Is he not playing? Same with Noel. And if we get those guys out and we already know RJ Barrett's going to be out, I think it could become another big night for Julius Randle. And I feel like a few times the last couple of streams I've kind of put it out there. It's like, hey, what if we look back tonight and Julius Randle had another big game and no one played him? Well, hey, what if we look back tonight and Julius Randle had another big game against the Oklahoma City Thunder? And the Thunder, if we look at their front court in the team DVP chart in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet, the Thunder on the season allowing a top 5 amount of fantasy points per game to opposing centers and a top 4 amount of fantasy points per game to opposing bigs. So bodes pretty well for Julius Randle, who would not only potentially pick up minutes in the absence of a Mitchell Robinson, a Taj Gibson, somebody like that, not Taj Gibson, Nerlens Noel, and then just pick up that extra usage. He's looking a little bit more like old school Julius Randle than the new school, right? Randle this season on the court for the Knicks with RJ Barrett off the court. Remember, RJ Barrett could represent 37 minutes. Him and Randle were really two anchors in the rotation there. Randle this season without RJ Barrett, a 33% usage rate, a 31% assist rate, 1.3 fantasy points per minute. This is since January 1. If we elongate that on that a little bit, just to maybe feel a little bit better, we'll go to October 19th. And the numbers we get back are Julius Randle with a usage rate of, pause for editing, stalling. There we go, 30%. So it's still pretty strong. And then, excuse me. And then yeah, we're just looking at Julius Randle to put up another big game. I've got him for 50 fantasy points on both sides here. And it all makes sense, right? It all makes sense. So let's run a usage check on the other side here. Josh Giddey, I guess, is the question I would have for you guys. 7,200 on Fanduel, 7,500 on DraftKings. Does Giddey get relegated to somebody we mainly get action to on PrizePicks or props betting sites? We take Giddey, put him on the court via the NBA Wowie tool. We take off SGA and Dort, right? And go from there. And when we do that, Giddey has a 23% usage rate, but about a fantasy point per minute production with a 37% assist rate. So a little bit more ball handling. So if we're looking at prizepicks.com, looking at some of those numbers that they have for Giddey, they have him at 6.5 assists, 10, 5, 6. Remember the 5 and 6 came in 2 games where he's limited to 30 minutes, and then that 10 came when it looks like he was a little bit more off the chain. So maybe we get behind some Josh Giddey assists based on this information, and we know that Thunder are often on the wrong side of blowouts anyway, so I'm not too scared of the minutes being limited here. And then Darius Bazley will focus on this front court for the Thunder. Bazley was key in a lot of success in the Discord on Saturday. We correctly speculated that Derek Favors would be out that night, and this front court rotation for the Thunder has been pretty light. Pokusevski's been getting minutes, and then of course they can lean on Kenrich Williams or Isaiah Roby. But for the most part, it's been Bazley and it's been Pokusevski, and Bazley has a real shot to lead the Thunder in minutes played again tonight. So maybe we just because of which we just throw him back in a player pool. And Bazley was somebody that we were playing consistently last year, has offered us 30 plus fantasy points in 4 of his last 5 games, 40 plus in his last 2 games. When you get him minutes, he's producing, and he has a real shot without Lou Dort, I guess, to be a guy that could lead the team in shot attempts today, right? I mean, I guess, Trey Man, there's some uncomfortable supplementary tertiary value plays here, but Giddey and Bazley has a 0.96 fantasy points per minute. So at that price, we get 35 plus minutes. Wouldn't say no to it, but the Giddey assist props, I'm a little bit intrigued with. Might have to write that down in pencil. Williams, Roby for me, it's going to be a wild one. Oh my God. Chris says, if I don't win anything tonight, I'll be back after the All-Star break. That is when normally I chill for a while and regroup. Hey, recharge when you recharge, right? We will be here. Hopefully. I hope Porto is going for 60 again tonight. Porto. What's up, Crispy? Says, what's up, Gunn and Danny? Snatched a box in the first quarter of that Super Bowl. Let's keep it going. Let's go, Crispy. That's it. Did you win one of the? I'm trying to think who won. I think Young C won a quarter. Wilson won 2. I don't remember who won the first one. Was that you? If so, congrats. But freaking Wilson, if you're out there, Black Crayon, $900, man. What the? Gunny says taking off for a date tonight. Hold up. I mean, I could, but we got DFS tonight.
What? Wow.
We got a late swap, babe.
Wow.
I gotta grind this news.
Really?
You know the vibes.
Really? Wow. Okay. That's toxic.
Gun, would you rather play Sabonis or Randall? That's a good one. I think if you gave me no Mitchell Robinson, I know the minutes are going to be there for Randall, so I might lean Randall, but that's not a snap call ever. I actually have Randall for just if I let the robot do the talking, right, the algorithm, I have Randall for like 2 more fantasy points than the Sabonis, which standard deviation, that means nothing, right? It could be the same play, so maybe we just lean the lower owned one. And I don't have a pulse on ownership projections, so I might lean Randall, but that's crazy to say that out loud. Elvis says, I'm banking on the Spurs Chicago game getting out of hand, and I'm staking half my roster with them. I like that total. It's a big, juicy total. Give me some Murray, DeRozan, Vassell, and Pirtle. I like that. Maybe a late dinner. Yeah, I'm game with that. All right, we'll be up all night. Just like, what? What do you mean? It's not.
It is.
It's not.
It is.
What up, Brody? Randall PRA's been smashing it late. Yeah, I like a lot of these Randall props. Matter of fact, we made Randall the poster boy of the PrizePicks stream. The PrizePicks stream that I forgot to put ads on, by the way. So maybe I should go do that real quick. And while we do that, I'll remind you guys that if you want to support the stream, support the channel, and diversify your daily spend, get a little bit more bang for the research that you're already doing. Go check out PrizePicks, man. They're a good affiliate, a good endorser. We got a good deal with them. If you sign up over there using code GUNDACKER, they'll double your first deposit up to $100. And then if you do sign up using my code, they actually show me a little bit of love every month. So it's a cool way to keep these streams free. Yeah, not that we're at risk of charging, but hey, if you want to support me and have some fun, sign up for PrizePicks. It's a whole lot of fun, and they are doing it right. Yesterday, unfortunately, our boy Odell Beckham tore his ACL in the first half of that game, and he was on pace to having a great game, and they did something that they didn't have to do. Right? No one expected them to refund cards that were negatively impacted by Odell's injury, but that's what they did. They volunteered it. So shout out to them for that. Certainly when it happened, no one expected them to do that. We don't draft, not that that should be the precedent or the standard, but just little small stuff like that they do that they don't have to do goes very much appreciated. So shout out to PrizePicks. Sign up using code GUNDACKER and be great. And then join us for the daily PrizePicks streams. We'd love to have you, right? Got to do V-Day breakfast or early lunch. I mean, so guys, she's still in bed, right? Our day's barely started, so we could still do Valentine's Day. It just got to be after the last game stocks out. But also, like yesterday, we did a fat dinner, right? A couple steaks. I think we spent over 100 on dinner yesterday alone. So it's not like not like yesterday was nothing. But it's fine. My office boxes, not Run DFS boxes. All right, Chris. Hey, congrats, right?
Chat. They're on my side today.
With Dort out, are you getting blowout vibes from OKC versus NY? So it's a 10-point spread. So it's very, very possible. I think this game gets a little bit slower to blow out because of how slow the pace is. But Dort does represent one of those scrappy defenders on the Thunder side that could keep things, going the right way. And the Knicks haven't been juggernauts in their own right. So I am expecting the Knicks to win handily, but blowout, if it gets there, it's gonna have to slow burn there, you would think. Knicks have a -1.5 net rating, and the Oklahoma City Thunder have a -7.1. So yeah, it probably, I don't know, 10-point spread leaves the door wide open for that. But I'm not necessarily expecting negative impact on Thunder minutes because they're involved in a lot of blowouts as it is. If we're looking for crazy dart throws, Ty Jerome, Trey Mann, in the absence of Lou Dort, in the absence of SGA in this split, certainly could make some sense here. Crispy, any more news on Giannis? He's just doubtful, so we just project him to be out from where we're at here and go from there, right? Has he been rolled out officially? That's right. That's par for what we expect. But I had him in doubtful, but I didn't get him rolled out. But it's splitting hairs, right? It's the same thing. Thoughts on Julius Randle, 23.5 points. I'm probably just throwing a net over Julius Randle fantasy points, and then the real points is looking fine as well. But I think it's fine. 23.5 real points, something he's clearing, and then this front court defense from the Thunder certainly susceptible to getting got. Raptors at the Pelicans, next game of the docket. Project starting five for the Raptors: Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent Jr., OG Anunoby, Scotty Barnes, Pascal Siakam taking on Devontae Graham, friend of the channel, CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, Herb Jones, and Jonas Valanciunas. 2-2-2 and another 1-2 is our total, with a 3.5-point spread in favor of the visiting Toronto Raptors. Raptors, the cleanest sheet today when it came to injury news and notes. Pelicans, Nance is out. Zion Williamson out. Last game for the Pelicans showed a little bit of spark out of this CJ McCollum guy that they picked up. 36 real points against the Spurs, 24 shot attempts, 11 boards, a bunch of assists to boot here. So good for them. If we look at the official usage rates for the Pelicans, now that we have a little bit of sample size. Hey, yo, Philip McPhee. Appreciate the sub. Welcome to the channel. We'll put McCollum on. We'll put Ingram on. Really, those are the main two. You want to see how they're vibing together, but you feel like JaVale might, impact some stuff as well. But 45 minutes of McCollum with Brandon Ingram, we're getting a 29% usage rate on McCollum, 28% usage rate on Brandon Ingram, and McCollum's the point per minute guy. JaVale also there. You don't feel like you're getting the right price just yet, right? 8K ish for McCollum, almost 9K on Ingram on DraftKings, 8,100 on Fanduel. JaVale's getting really, really okay. Maybe we could talk cheap under 7K on Fanduel. But, against this Raptors matchup, we expect the Raptors to bring the pace down a little bit. They're long, lanky, solid defenders. So I might allow myself to stay away from the Pelicans on a slate this big and wait for these prices to stabilize a little bit more, probably go down a little bit more, and then also just wait for that right spot and also gather more sample size on how these guys are going to gel together. So I will personally probably be away from Pelicans exposure tonight, but the Raptors, I feel like you always want some Raptors exposure. Why? Because they play so many gosh darn minutes. Watch your profanity. If we pull up the Toronto Raptors minute reports here, last game out for the Raptor starters, 37 minutes on Trent, 30 on Anunoby, 37 for Fred VanVleet, 42 for Siakam, and the more you go, the more consistent you get it. You guys know the drill. You've been around. Nick Nurse, he heads to the locker room once the jump ball goes, and he comes back here and then to sub a guy out or something. But for the most part, we're expecting 37 minutes for potentially 4 of the 5 starters against the Pelicans. The Pelicans come into this game with one of the more susceptible defensive efficiency ratings in the league. If we go look at that team metrics chart in the rundfs.com NBA VIP spreadsheet, Pelicans are bottom 10 in points per game, points per 100 possessions. Don't think they necessarily went forward or backwards, maybe lateral, going from a Josh Hart to a McCollum in the lineup. So everyone's in play, but more esteem for me on a guy like Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam, who has earned a new price point over 10K on both sites. Need that 50 plus, so it doesn't have to be a priority, but he's going to be in the pool for me. And then same with Fred VanVleet, 8,600. I'm looking for 40 plus fantasy points. That's what the early projections getting. And then the Pelicans do allow plenty of points per game via the 3-ball, right? On the season, the Pelicans are bottom 10 in points per game via the 3-ball. So maybe Gary Trent Jr. at 6,500 on DraftKings has a little bit of meat on the bone for him as well. So a couple Raptors in the pool. They'll probably all be like tier 3, and then we spin it. What do we got on this one, chat? Jermaine says, I've got Siakam points over 21.5. 21. And then Freddie 6.5 assists. Yeah, I was kind of surprised that the results for VanVleet in terms of assists haven't been higher. He's averaging over 7 assists per game on the season, and his assist rate leads the team, and he plays 40 freaking minutes. But lately 5.65. So I wonder how many unrealized assists that he's gotten. Maybe we're expecting some progression to go his way. But the shot volume pretty strong for him as well. And then much like Gary Trent, a lot of his shots going to be from behind the arc, and we have seen that Siakam, has done a little bit more ball handling. We know Scotty Barnes can also set some plays up. So Siakam 7, 4, 5, 8 assists his last couple games. So maybe that's cannibalizing the assist rate there for VanVleet, but it is pretty spread out overall, right? I tried Jermaine. Okay. Just give him the entry fees for an NBA contest. Oh, for my birthday?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I got it. Don't worry about your birthday.
Wait, you already bought my birthday present?
Yeah, I've already set up your whole birthday.
You're capping.
I am not.
Oh, okay.
I'd say ask someone with that's spoiling it. So don't ask anyone.
All right.
Mind your business.
I'm minding my business.
Focus on NBA.
I know I'm late to the party. How many minutes for Drummond? Man, Cheyenne, I don't know. We talked about that, not quite at nauseum, but if I would say if he's in the starting lineup, which he may or may not be, right? We can see a starting lineup that maybe has LaMarcus Aldridge at the 4, Drummond at the 5, or he could just not start. We could see Nick Claxton at the 5, And then I don't know what to expect from Drummond. Would it be more like 18 minutes like he was getting in Philly? So I'm hoping that we get some Steve Nash quotes because I'm looking for a little bit of guidance and direction on what to expect from Drummond. Looking at the pool of players that they have available: Batum, Aldridge, Blake Griffin, Drummond. You feel like Blake Griffin can go back to DNPs like he was earlier this season, and that wouldn't stun us. So I would like some forewarning on when Drummond's going to break the slate and go full on Hassan Whiteside on us. And like I said, if he was 35 minutes tonight, he should be 8-9K. So I want to get all the exposure to him, but we don't know from this far out. So I'm really hoping that as part of one of the early games at home, we have some intel on what the Nets might roll out there tonight. And then I would be in trouble, right? Hey, yo, Michael, Jamal, appreciate that sub, man. You guys out there lurking, see that red sub button lit up, man. Help us reach some goals. We are on the hunt for 7,000 subscribers. We are thumbing, and I think we can get there at this pace probably by the end of next month, if not by the middle of next month. So that's a community goal, not just a me goal, right? Willie says, "Gunna, I like Kuzma over 21.5 points. No one else is going to score for the Wizards. What say you?" Yeah, I was targeting a lot of those Kuzma props. I like his rebounds, his points, his fantasy points, all that good stuff. So I'm in agreement with you. K. John says, "I need your take on this Milwaukee game. No Giannis means Middleton, Holiday, go time. Talk me off of it." Yeah, we'll get to that game in a minute, but I think it's going to come down to what the spread is. But as long as we kind of like expect them to stay on the court, right, in the fourth quarter, Drew and Middleton are usually the chalk additions to player pools, and then Bobby Portis as well. But yeah, we will definitely dive into that situation. What up, Danny Green? Ayo, Gunny, better value, Clips or Wizards? Yeah, I'm probably still leaning Wizards, but the Clippers without Norman Powell does offer something, but it also just makes the Clippers what they were 2 weeks ago. And then you were just like spinning the wheel on Terrence Mann and Luke Kennard, and the volatility was still there. So I don't know that pre-flop I'm feeling super warm and fuzzy anyway. But right now I'm probably still leaning the Wizards just because of I guess the defensive matchup looking a little bit better, right? I would rather take the over for DeMar over 31.5 than Kuzma at 21.5. Coop, I don't think that's crazy, but I don't know. I think Kuzma, I'm just gonna lean on the fantasy point prop more than anything. Holiday PRA, like that. 78 likes, man. We're at likes already. Let's go. What's the record again for likes? What did you say it was?
189.
189. No. So, yeah, it is 189. Good call. So 189 is the record, chat. Break a record today. Be great. Be great. Bulls hosting the Spurs. Projects 35 for the Spurs. DeJounte Murray, Devin Vassell, Dougie McBuckets, Keldon Johnson, Jakob Poeltl. Am I not Poeltl enough for the Poeltl Club? Taking Ayo DeSumo, Kobe White, Derek Jones Jr., DeMar DeRozan, and Nikola Vucevic. 234.5 total, 3.5 point spread in favor of the home team, Chicago Bulls. This game features probably the most sought after total to spread ratio game out there. So we really want to load up on it. At least I do. And the names, starting on the Spurs side, the names that stand out, DeJounte Murray without Derek White has every bit of potential to be the slate's highest scorer in terms of fantasy points. First of all, if I organize the projections, what am I doing here? Take off, boom, from alphabetical. I have DeJounte Murray second on fantasy points. He's a pretty distant second to Nikola Jokic, but he is second nonetheless. So range of outcome for him to be the highest scorer on the slate. And then Devin Vassell, here's a guy that's still grinding out 30 fantasy points and maybe 5,200. Still a little too cheap over here on DraftKings to get to those 30 plus in this implied total. 30, 33, 31 his last 3 games, coming into becoming a really solid fantasy play. Keldon Johnson and Jakob Poeltl, 2 guys I'm digging from the front court here. Keldon Johnson at under 6K still feels a little too cheap. He's finding his shot, finding his rhythm a little bit more lately, shooting 46, 61%, 64%. There was a lot of bad shooting games in his life before that. Looking for 30 plus fantasy points. We love bigs and forwards against the Bulls front court. And Jakob Poeltl, I think I'm a little bit soured at this price point. 8K on FanDuel, 7K. You just feel like that type of money is going to be a down payment on somebody that's 10K, 11K at some other position, even if it's not center. That his 40 fantasy points doesn't feel as strong here, especially with Zach Collins lurking and Jock Landale, stuff like that. So I'm probably less on Poeltl exposure here, but DeJounte, Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson look like they're going to be pretty solid fixtures on my player pool tonight. And then on the Bulls side, no Zach LaVine opens up 35 plus minutes of opportunity that you have to fill, and then it also just kind of spreads out that usage because LaVine is averaging 24, 25 real points per game, and we might have another Bulls situation where they distribute it so equally in a 234 total that a couple guys become viable. A couple games ago, 4 Bulls players had 20 real points or more, and that may not be crazy to expect here against a Spurs team that has been sluggish on defense, but they traded away probably their best defender, at least their best on-ball defender, in Derek White. So good spot for the Bulls to spread out for another strong game here. If we pull up that on-off court tool and feature Chicago, shout out to Add More Funds. Let's pull up DeRozan on the court. Let's put Vucevic on the court. And let's take off LaVine. Let's take off all the guards here. I don't know if we want to put Dosunmu and Kobe White on just yet, but let's put LaVine off the court. Let's put Lonzo Ball off the court, and let's put who am I missing? Oh, Caruso, Murray, and Johnson. You have a favorite prop for tonight's games? Favorite prop? I think I do like the Kuzma numbers, the Sabonis fantasy points, the Randall fantasy points. I haven't ranked favorite yet, but those are 3 that are on the top of my mind right now. So DeRozan and Vooch on the court together here. DeRozan almost a 30% usage rate, 24% assist rate, about a fantasy point per minute. He played a lot of those. Vucevic 1.3 fantasy points per minute with a 21% assist rate, 27% usage rate. And if we just specifically add Ayo Dosunmu into the mix, his assist rate is worth noting. Dosunmu's, that is. His assist rate is at 25%. And if we look at our PrizePicks numbers for Dosunmu, I believe we had him at 6.5. They moved it, or we have him at 7.5. So 7.5 assists, still a number that he can clear. But yeah, those are the numbers that stuck out the most. And did we ever get a Kobe White line? Because I thought Kobe White threes might be something that finally gets added, and it doesn't look like it has been. So maybe we get Kobe White, 2.5 threes. I might take a shot on that. So what can we do here? I kind of want to see if we can put an actual number on the impact of Derek White. Because Derek White, first of all, Derek White defensive rating. Let's go this season and see what numbers we can spit back. LaVine is out. Yeah, Jim LaVine is out. 112. It feels like it should be better, but let's see. Spurs defensive rating without Derek White this season. Murray, Ayo, Vouch, Vassell, and DeRozan. Yeah. So Spurs have a defensive rating of 115.6 without Devin Vassell. So 115.6. Obviously, that's in a more isolated sample size. So, it could regress. But that would be good for a bottom 2 defense in basketball if that number were to sustain. And then the Bulls' offensive efficiency being so high. Yeah, it probably takes a step backward without Zach LaVine, but it also, it may not. Matter of fact, maybe we run that. Bulls offensive rating. Let's put without Zach LaVine this season. It's going to be a new number created specifically for DeRozan. 114. So still pretty good. Matter of fact, it's consistent with their with what we're working with. So if we put a great offense against a bad defense, 234, then the results you're going to get. You put DeRozan against a sorry defender sorry receiver like Michael Crabtree. DeRozan's given us a real point prop of 31.5 on PrizePicks. On Fanduel, we're getting 10.4K. On DraftKings, 10.2K. You need 50 plus fantasy points, right, for that dog to start hunting. But that's been DeRozan's life now, right? This is what reality is. 54, 53. So if we're gonna live up to this implied total where the Bulls are going to get 117, 118 points. DeRozan's liable to get 30% of them suckers. And yeah, I definitely will have DeRozan in the mix. I got him at 53 fantasy points. So we revisit our rankings in terms of fantasy score. Jokic is clear number 1, DeJounte Murray number 2, but then there's DeRozan and there's Vucevic 3 and 4 based on the early algorithm look. So very, very live tonight. And I think Vucevic is a guy we should really give some respect to here. He was part of the big night on Saturday. 50 to 60 fantasy points from him is not an outlandish expectation in this split. 56 fantasy points, 30 real points against the Thunder. The Thunder front court, disastrous on defense, but Vucevic has been such an elite rebounder, and he spaces the floor so well that 20 plus real points is not an outlandish expectation, and we've seen him score as much as 70, 60 plus in matchups. Toronto lanky. I do like DeRozan in the mix. I wonder how much overlap I'm going to have with DeRozan and Vucevic. Maybe not that much, but it does feel like they can combine for 100 plus, right? And that's not a bad way to start a lineup. Put 100 points on 2 guys. Past that, Dosunmu is probably too cheap on both sites, especially DraftKings on the south side of 6K. I'd be fully expecting 30 plus fantasy points for him. Matter of fact, that might have been one of the more staggering differences between my projections and theirs. They've got Dosunmu at 30 fantasy points on Fanduel, and I've got him at 37, so I'll get about a 7-point gap. I might be on some Dosunmu fantasy points, but at 5,900 on DraftKings, I'm expecting big minutes out of Dosunmu here, right? 42 minutes his last 2 games, no Zach LaVine. That's just an awful lot of opportunity for that assist rate, for this total, for Dosunmu to not be heavily involved in my personal exposures. And then if we look at that team DVP chart in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet, the Spurs have allowed a top 10 amount of fantasy points per game to opposing point guards, and that much more without Derek White defense, right? So give me some Dosunmu for sure. What up, Elvin? Says, I'm behind Vassell. Hearing his interview about how bummed he was that he mentioned as a rising star made me realize he has to drive to do well. Yeah, I like Devin Vassell so much. What up, Travis? Why is it so hot outside? But yeah, it is hot out there. It's over 70 degrees out there today. And it was down in the 20s yesterday, Troy Brown on FanDuel, only 3,600. I like Troy Brown if or with no Javonte Green. Derek Jones is questionable, so I don't think that's crazy, but what we need to make this happen? 28 minutes against the Thunder, 13 fantasy points, 0 for 9. He's certainly somebody I leaned on. I think he used to play for the Wizards, and I used to play him in spot starts. 3,500 is cheap enough I can get behind, but I would really need Javonte Green and probably Derek Jones to be out to feel like that's a click I need to get to, Thoughts on Mills for value tonight? Patty Mills? I don't think he's priced to be an extreme value. 5K, 4,800. Probably need 30 fantasy points. That's fair. I think I got him for that. I'm worried about Seth Curry and Cam Thomas. Seth Curry is just kind of like a monkey wrench into what we know so far, and then Cam Thomas has been flourishing. So for Patty Mills to do fine, would need probably Cam Thomas to not keep being good. And then remember, the last couple games also involved no LaMarcus Aldridge, guys like that. So those real points, we're not expecting to score those many more real points. We're expecting some sacrifices and some usage tugs and pulls here. So I think Patty Mills is fine, but I need the Brooklyn Nets starting lineup to feel great and confident and have more conviction on some of these calls specifically, Derek Jones is not healthy at all. Yeah, I haven't been tracking the Derek Jones situation, but I guess we can pick up some info here. Javonte Green listed as questionable, right midfoot sprain. Derek Jones is probable, right finger fracture. And then, maybe his conditioning here, right? But it seems like he's probable. So let's move on to the next game. Blazers at the Bucks. Project 75 for the Blazers. Anthony Simon, CJ Ellaby, Josh Hart, Justice Winslow, and Yusef Nurkic taking on Drew Holiday, Grayson Allen, Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Probably like a Wesley Matthews or somebody like that, and then a Bobby Portis in this front court. Giannis Antetokounmpo was downgraded to doubtful moments before I went live for the PrizePicks stream, so we do have to adjust accordingly in the projections here. But what we do know is that without Giannis, a lot of usage is to be compensated for, and it typically goes to Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, and probably Bobby Portis. I'm gonna go get caught up on the Vegas totals here. Did we get an adjustment on the Bucks? Milwaukee is at 224. So Milwaukee went from 15 to 14 point favorites down to 11.5. So that's a good sign if you want that many more minutes for the Middleton and Drew Holiday shares. 224 total, so the total dropped 6-7 points as well. Okay. And then I guess we'll go pull up the on-off court tool here on Milwaukee. Ibaka's going to fit well with the Bucks. Yeah, I like Ibaka. I think reminds me of like the PJ Tucker pickup for them, where you just add a solid veteran. Don't need him to do too much. Just go big when we call you, right? Giannis off the court. Drew Holiday on. Middleton on. Watched the game last night. Every time he dunked or something with that hand, he grabbed it, held it. Even the Bulls announced, yeah, well, maybe he's going to be playing with a broken finger. All right, so when Giannis has been out this season, we got 300-plus minutes of sample size. Drew Holiday, a 31% assist rate, over a fantasy point per minute, 25% usage rate. Chris Middleton, 28% usage rate, 21% assist rate. So he's at a 1.2-plus fantasy point per minute. We did not have the numbers earlier on the PrizePicks show for the Bucks. I've been told that they've added some numbers, so maybe now we can get behind some of these calls. Based on this number, the 31% assist rate for Drew Holiday, I'd be interested in Drew Holiday's assists if they were below 7.5, 7. What do we get? 8.5. Fudge. Not quite, right? I probably still have some interest though. Middleton is at 42 fantasy points and Drew Holiday is at 43 fantasy points. I've got Drew at 49. I got Middleton at 47. I also have Bobby Portis at 40. And they have Bobby Portis at 34. So it looks like Bobby Portis is probably the bigger split here for me. Yeah. All right. Let's do some history here. Drew Holiday, DKP by game log without Giannis Antetokounmpo last 10 games. Who you know that can type that sentence faster than me? Who you know? 42, 50, 48, 49, 56. So all really, really nice returns on $7,800, right? So we'll take that. And we definitely know the Blazers defense is something we can pick on. So Drew Holiday should be probably one of the more owned players on the slate and probably project as one of the highest scorers on the slate. We talked about the top four in terms of projected fantasy points. But Drew Holiday's right up there, right behind Sabonis, Curry, Randall, and the previously mentioned four. So don't mind that because of his price being much cheaper than everyone else, 2 to 3 to 4K cheaper than everyone else. He's getting nearly 6x grade at 8K, and that almost never happens pre-flop. So love the Drew Holiday, love the Middleton exposure, and then Bobby Portis under 7K on both sides. Definitely could 3-man stack the Bucks. You probably expect that to be one of your more common cash game single entry correlations. $3 in the lineup and go from there. So yeah, just expect it. Holiday's averaging 24 points without Giannis. That's pretty doggone good. Middleton has averaged 40 FanDuel points last 5 games versus the Blazers. Now you have no Giannis. Let me get that. Let's go, K Johnson. I'm with that. Jim says, hey guys, if you haven't hit that like button yet, please do for Gunny. It's one of the. Let's go, Jim. Appreciate that, Jim. Hype it up. Yeah, hit them thumbs up, man. Let's go. 92. We get to 100 before we really jump into the final 20 minutes. Man, we awesome. Randall's free throws looks nice. Let's go. You have to take that into consideration. Giannis and Middleton were out in that stretch too. Dig deep on it for just Middleton. Yeah, without context, definitely any of those stat muse things without context is dangerous. That's why I really lean more on the NBA Wowie tool than really the stat muse tool. I think the stat muse is a little bit more elementary, but it's very valuable when you start putting context to it. But we just know straight up, 1, the Blazers suck on defense. 2, Drew Holiday, Middleton we have years of sample size of them per minute without Giannis. And then Bobby Portis is in play as well. And remember, they are, they don't have Boogie anymore. And then Pat Connaughton's listed as out. George Hill listed as out. And then, so we might get some deeper run here for Grayson Allen at under 5K. So I really not really a whole lot of names I wouldn't click behind the Bucks here. We'll just see what that starting lineup looks like. You might get Middleton at the 4. So here's where we can talk about this game, chat. We're gonna load up on Bucks. Everyone's gonna do it. What about the Blazers? Blazers, no Norman Powell, right? And then still no Bledsoe, no Lillard, no Dennis Smith Jr. Do we get 40 minutes of Anthony Simons one more again? And is 40 minutes of Anthony Simons the obvious play in retrospect when he drops 30 real points again like he did against the Knicks, right? Maybe. So I would just say, like, if we're gonna load up on Bucks, maybe don't not get Blazers. Double negative equals a positive. English. So yeah, some Simons hedge, right? Maybe the Simons price on Fanduel, $1,000 discount, is a little bit more nice, for lack of a better term. But Josh Hart's in the mix. Justice Winslow's put together a couple solid games, and then Nurkic in that front court, without having to match up against Giannis. I would maybe game stack here, especially with this game getting closer to a 10-point spread now. Josh Hart, somebody that we know can stuff the stat sheet if the Bucks are going to keep it fast paced. Let's go with it. Josh Hart in his first game with the team, 37 minutes, 26 fantasy points, 20 plus real points. Didn't get a bunch of peripherals. That's not necessarily expected against the Knicks, but it's also not expected for Josh Hart. So I do think that part of his game could come back and pick up some of those rebounds here. So something to watch for. What did I want to look up? I wanted to look up, do the Bucks take any massive hits defensively? Bucks defensive rating without Giannis Antetokounmpo this season. Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying, KJ. But I think Drew's also had some big games with Middleton, right? So 112.3 is their defensive rating without Giannis. And again, some games without Drew Holiday in the mix as well. But 112 would be bottom 10, bottom half of the league. So we expect a little less resistance than usual. But I guess if you want to put some context to those Drew numbers, Drew Holiday, DKP by game log without Giannis Antetokounmpo let's go last 5 games on that. And then basically what we're going to look for is how many were with or without Middleton. But like I said, we have sample size of him. One, he's just too cheap in general, right? But 2, we have some sample size with him with Middleton as well. So against the Kings, Milwaukee, he did have Middleton. He had Portis. Then against Toronto, where he dropped 50, he did have Middleton, so he dropped 50 with Middleton. Against Dallas, player stats, Milwaukee, he had Middleton. Against Houston, player stats, Milwaukee, he had Middleton. He had Boogie as well. And then against New Orleans, stats, Milwaukee. So the last 4 games without Giannis in this search is with Middleton. So I guess we take off that 56 and we get 50 or less. So again, as long as we're getting over 40 at his price today, I'm okay with 7,800. And Blazers being this bad on defense, it bodes well. So, but yes, I love, like KJ. I think it's very important to put context to the queries. But it looks like 4 of the last 5 are with Middleton without Giannis, so that's good. They are a 2-man tandem, and it's the Blazers. Just choose not to overthink. I think it's more than 2. I think Portis can be heavily involved, and definitely don't mind his props. And I got him at 40 fantasy points as well. So could we throw three bucks in the lineup, get 120 plus fantasy points on either side, respectively? Very, very possible. Probably what I'd do. All right, let's. You guys are gonna play Justice Winslow, Josh Hart? Like, are you guys gonna get to some Blazers? I feel like I expect Simons to do the real point scoring, chuck some threes, 20 plus shot attempts. What is PrizePicks telling us, right? What are they expecting out of the Blazers? Maybe more so real points. They got 21.5 real points on Simons. In this pace with this total, I could lean the over a little bit, right? We'll go look at the usage rates for Portland here. Simons on, Lillard off. I guess McCollum. We don't have a ton of sample size altogether, but we take off Lillard, McCollum, and Norman Powell. And then I guess we'll put Nurkic on with Simons just to try and somewhat replicate what we're working with. 25% usage, 26%.
Bing bong.
Bing bong.
Where the likes at today? Guess I'm still retired. Happy Valentine's Day. I hope Danny gets a puppy today.
Stop that. Stop that right now, good sir. We're not getting no gosh dang puppy up in here. No puppy yet. Not yet. I do need a new car. 1.3 fantasy points per minute in this split for Nurkic. Appreciate that 5, by the way, Damron. Unretire. You missed out on the 100K hit. Come on with it. Anthony Simons over fantasy point per minute, but the 25% usage rate is very notable. And then 33% assist rate. Could we get behind some PrizePicks assists? Do they have that? 4.5 assists. 8, 4. Let me look at this lineup again. Winslow. We have a little bit more minutes on Winslow now. Josh Hart's. I don't want to add Hart and ruin everything, but Winslow's got us 2 or 3 games now where we might get some of this to coincide and gel better. Lazarus, Taylor, Gunn, how do you run lines for single entry versus tournament? So single entry would also really, so any lineup, first of all, needs to be cognitive of how many entries you have to beat. There's a $4 contest on DraftKings today. I think you have to beat like 100,000 entries. So you're going to have to be off the wall, right? You're going to have to be contrarian to be up top. If you're playing single entry, some single entries, you don't have to beat 700 lineups, right? So you don't need to play Rajon Rondo or somebody like that to stand out, right? The risk is the risk. English. The risk aren't as necessary for smaller fields because more than likely first place is not going to be near the fantasy score of the bigger field. So the best way I think you could gradually get yourself into single entry is think about what would you run in cash games, right? And then maybe change 2 pieces in that lineup that either one you might think are the high owned guys, and that's how you're getting a little bit different, or 2 just 2 guys that maybe have a lower floor but still have a high ceiling. You grab those in the mix. Saturday night, the guy that really did well for me was like Terry Rozier, right? He dropped 60 plus again. Now that's not a great example because he was super high owned, but so was LaMelo, and I ended up not having LaMelo in that lineup and using that money elsewhere. So I don't know. I guess whatever you would run in cash, and the thought in cash game is to be top 42, top 50%. Run that safe of a lineup, and then take 2 fringe plays out of that, and grab somebody else. Also, sometimes in single entry, I'll just hedge against myself. So guys that I'm extra exposed on in mass multi entry, I'll go the opposite way in single entry, right? That way, if it goes all bad or all good, one way or the other, maybe I'll compensate at the end of the night. Jordan Warren will put up 32 fantasy points tonight, minimum salary. I'm calling it here and now. Doug, I love playing Jordan Warren. If he's going to get run, I'll play him. Do wonder what the Serge Ibaka impact is here. Does he start? Do they start Nwora? Do they put Middleton at the 4? Do they put Allen and Wesley Matthews in the lineup instead? They also have Greg Monroe. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a couple of different ways they can do it, but Jordan Nwora is definitely a per minute guy that I can get behind. Anyway, what was I doing? Oh, I was trying to talk myself into Anthony Simons' assist, right? So in 90 minutes of sample size here, Nurkic, Simons, Winslow on the court. Remember, we just had a 30% assist rate for Simons here. Now it's at 29%. So it's 4.5 assists in 40 minutes of Anthony Simons in a fast-paced game against the Milwaukee Bucks, or let's say faster-paced game than they play, and with a high implied total. Is Simons at 4.5 assists something we can get behind? I'm thinking it is, right? Before that there was games with McCollum, games with Norman Powell, games with Dennis Smith Jr. behind. All that's gone. So I might lean on some 4.5 assists for Simons. I do like the point prop too. And maybe we just throw a blanket over the fantasy score. I got him for 40 plus as well. But I do think this is an opportunity to take advantage of some numbers that our numbers might be a little bit different than the lines. And so maybe we get there. And then Winslow and Nurkic. I got Winslow and Nurkic for over 40 fantasy points each. They've got Nurkic at 38 fantasy points against this Bucks front court. Certainly a tight squeeze in the last couple of games, but Knicks, slower pace game, harder to get off against. Magic, a slower pace game. Milwaukee didn't do great there, so maybe we're not running to that. And then Winslow doesn't have a fantasy point prop. Josh Hart is at 31. I've got Hart right now at 36. So I got a couple of overleans here on this side, right? Will there be a lot of Christian with this guy? Going with Bojan on Fanduel tonight instead of Winslow. Thoughts? I'm worried about that game staying close, to be honest. I mean, that's the largest, right? Utah's a 15-point favorite. So worried about that game staying close. Worried about Donovan Mitchell not doing it. You know what I mean? Like it's not a crazy thought. Like if you just thought in theory, hey, Bojan should drop 30 against the Rockets, yeah, for sure. But versus Winslow, Winslow's game script's gonna be a little bit more positive, I think. But like at the end of the day, that 1v1, I don't know if that's is Winslow projected for high ownership? I haven't got a pulse on that to know if that's even a pivot that we need to make, I guess so. Probably does. You got to make him want to give you a puppy. You don't want. No. So I mean, we live on an apartment, bro. We can't have no puppy. That's why. I do want a dog, but not till I get a yard for it. Magic at the Nuggets. Next game on the docket. Projects 35 for the Magic. Cole Anthony, Jalen Suggs, Franz Wagner, Wendell Carter Jr., and Mo Bamba. He's got O's calling up against Monte Morris, Will Barton, Aaron Gordon, Jeff Green, and Nikola Jokic. We got a 225.5 total. Home team Denver Nuggets favored by 11. Jokic far and away from this far out my highest projected fantasy point scorer on the slate. I got him over 60 fantasy points on FanDuel. It's getting about a 7 to 8 point difference over the number 2 guy. So I'm going to be leaning on that quite liberally here for Jokic. And I think he's in a really, really good spot in a matchup that he should thrive against. Worry about the spread in this one, but hey, Nuggets have not really been a massive blowout team, and I think Jokic is just that good of a player that I'm in on Jokic exposure here. I don't think I'm going to get to much else on the Nuggets. And then on the Magic side, I'm getting an okay projection, as always, for Cole Anthony. But we know his floor is not quite what we want it to be. And then Mo Bamba and Wendell Carter. We did discuss how the Nuggets have been kind of porous rebounding lately, but I don't know. I don't know that I'm running to click Bamba. Maybe Wendell Carter. I'm getting nearly 40 fantasy points right now on Wendell Carter. But Jokic certainly is going to be a guy I probably want no less than 30% exposure to tonight, just because I got his projection so aggressively higher than number 2, right? It's not a night like the other night we had him and Embiid plus minus 1-2 fantasy points. 6 to 8. That's a different league, right? So I'm going to have to be aggressive on Jokic exposure. What up, Parker? What's up, Gun? Do you like Steph Curry assist prop at 6.5? Yeah, Parker. Actually, we talked about that on the PrizePicks show. A lot of correlated lineups we can run tonight. Kind of like same game parlays, but with the Warriors. Matter of fact, I'd say let me talk about that next because that'll be. Well, let me talk about that in 2 games. But yeah, Steph Curry's assist rate with Klay Thompson on is high, and then Thompson's usage rate is high. So 6.5 assists correlated with Klay Thompson's points. Not a bad spin, right? Never getting rid of my cat. Trade the cat for a dog. Let's go. I don't have to. The cat doesn't have to go out for walks and stuff, right? And dog's not gonna use the litter box. This is cats are a lot less maintenance, right? Dogs would just get stir crazy and start knocking stuff over. Favorite Jokic prop? Let's see. I got him at 62 fantasy points for PrizePicks, and they've got him at Nuggets. My name is Buck. 58. That's not really that big of a gap, and that's a big. So, yikes. I don't know. Maybe I'm just out on. Maybe I'm just. I don't know. I probably don't have any Jokic cards tonight. Everything seems expensive. Assist maybe, just getting that triple double, but for the most part, I think I'm gonna throw Jokic. Remember, like this parlay style approach here. I want no risk, and I don't think I don't think there's any value on these Jokic numbers. You think Bagley starts? I don't know. I really don't. The Pistons have been so weird. I think he's talented enough to start. But I don't see them sitting Jeremy Grant, and Isaiah Stewart seems like he's earned his role as a starting five, and Marvin Bagley might be better suited as a forward anyway. So I don't know. If the draft taught us anything, is that the Pistons and the free agency taught us anything, is that the Pistons like having 37 centers. So I don't know what to expect, right? Big checks only. Going about to make a tournament and buy a puppy. Baby. Doubt it, though. In order to get the puppy, I got to get a house. You know what I mean? So maybe the bank would be to get the house, and then it next would come the puppy. But I do have some time left on this lease, so don't think it's happening. Will not give up until my boyfriend gets me a puppy. Like, puppies are cute for like a week. Then they get annoying. And if you guys are out there, you understand what I mean. How many you guys ever get a puppy and then a week later you're putting it back on Facebook Marketplace and looking for a good home? I don't know. They're cute at first, but when they start chewing up your shoes, your wires. The last puppy I had, I don't know if you guys remember, a little puppy named Ellie. She chewed up no less than $3,000 worth of electronics that I had. I don't need no puppy. You know what I mean? I did not need a puppy. So at that point we rehomed her. But yes, I'd rather get an already adult dog. That's been my best luck historically, man. Give me a dog that's already grown up, appreciates a house, a yard. I don't need the puppy stuff. You guys could have that. You could have the cleaning up after them in the house and getting your stuff chewed up, you know? Cats are better anyway. Cats are definitely way more low maintenance. Puppies don't poop under your desk midstream. Oh my god! You know what's crazy? That happened during a baseball stream, so the people, the chat probably doesn't know what you're talking about. But was it last year? Maybe the year before? I was doing a baseball stream, and my sister was rehoming a litter of kittens, but she had to go out of town. She left once. She's like, "Hey, bro, will you watch this cat for me?" I was like, "Sure." It's a kitten. What's the worst that could happen? They do litter box. Meow, meow. And sure enough, I'm on the air or recording. I don't know if it was a stream or I was recording a video, and then mid freestyling, stats, it relieves itself under the desk, and you just like, I was like, I don't know, hard contact, and it's just like I was trying to no sell it, but it was bad. Rockets at the Jazz. What's bad is this spread. Rockets projected starting five: Kevin Porter, Jalen Green, Eric Gordon, Jayshawn Tate, Christian Wood, up against Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell, Bojan Bogdanovic, Royce O'Neal, and Rudy Gobert. Got 231 is our total here. 15-point spread. Favor of the home team, Utah Jazz. The status of Rudy Gobert is a big one here because if he can't go, we might expect another slate-breaking performance out of Hassan Whiteside, who has back-to-back amazing games. Rudy Gobert went through shoot-around this morning. Bing, bong. Bing, bong. Yo, Vladdy with the $1. I appreciate that, Vladdy. Shout out to you. That's love. Happy V-Day to you and yours. Rudy Gobert did go through shoot-around yesterday or today and participated in practice on Sunday. So I guess if he can play, he can play. But I said it on the PrizePicks stream is if there was any inkling of doubt, you feel like you don't need Rudy Gobert to beat the Houston Rockets. So something to keep an eye on. Maybe we don't have that information by initial lock, but it seems like he's on track to play with the practice and a shooting around under his belt. So something to keep an eye on. If he does play, I mean, this is a lopsided game from the word go, pre-flop at least, 15-point spread. Utah has let some guys run up the scoreboard on him, but I don't know that I'm running to much here. I think Donovan Mitchell at 9K on DK, I would probably need 50 plus. Bojan, I need 30 to 40 at 6,100. I think 30 plus is very viable. Rudy Gobert would be intriguing if we felt comfortable about his minutes being high from this far out. If Rudy Gobert was in, that would probably make Whiteside untouchable on both sites at his newfound price point. And then Jordan Clarkson, something that's at least interesting in this pace and this spread of a game. So Jazz would become a really, really tough puzzle to put together if Rudy Gobert was in. If Rudy Gobert was out, yeah, we'd probably like some Whiteside. Probably still expect Azubike to start. But Mitchell would feel a little bit stronger, and then maybe some defensive peripherals were a little bit more spread out here. So not a lot to love pre-flop for me on the Jazz side if Gobert's in, and this is a full-strength Jazz lineup, because I'm not really expecting more than 3/4 of game time here. Maybe the Rockets shock them, right? Jazz putting together a couple good games here in the last couple outings for them, though. Christian Wood, Kevin Porter Jr. would be like the first two guys I look at, and then I'm not looking that long. Don't feel like I'm getting a massive projection on Christian Wood. KPJ under 7K could get to 40 plus here and there, but if Eric Gordon's going to be in the mix, there's just enough resistance all the way around. Even if, like, I don't know what the plan is with Schroeder, but I'm probably just full fading this game. You guys have opposite thoughts, let me know, but for the most part, that's where I'm at. 111 likes, 230 plus of you guys, man. Get them thumbs up, man. Let's get to 140. I would appreciate it so much. Lonnie Walker, good value or nah? I think he's fine, but he's not egregiously great or anything like that. I think Devin Vassell is the guy I'm still looking at, even though the Vassell has crossed the 5K rainbow bridge, as you will, since we're talking about dogs. I'm leaning more so Vassell. What up, Nova? I came home to a chewed shoes, mattress, chair, table, flooring, and a puppy in my wall. Chewed a hole through the drywall. Yep. That's enough puppy for me. You know what I mean, Nova? Like, you're gone. Obviously, I wouldn't do anything stupid, but I would just rehome that for somebody who has more patience. I'm way more on the camp of getting... It didn't have to be an adult dog, but a dog that's already matured, man. I don't need that puppy stuff, right? What up, Mike? Mike says, can we get another 402 in Fanduel tonight, VIP style? That would be nice. That was such a good night for everyone in the VIP. 402 fantasy points was the optimal lineup based on the projections in the VIP. We don't ever talk about that. I really don't want to talk about that, but we do look at what the optimal VIP lineup is based on our projections. But that's kind of a secret, right? Because if we say that we're lineup sellers on Fanduel, then everyone signs up to buy it, and it's not good. That's not the community we want. So that's all you guys get from that one. But yeah, 402 fantasy points was very, very nice to the PayPal account. Christian Wood's Valentine's Day narrative. Is that Christian Wood, Kevin Love, Josh Hart, Denzel Valentine? Is he on the Jazz? He is. Yeah, sure. Somebody put together a narrative lineup and tweet at me, and I'll retweet you with the fist. Rainbow Bridge joke. I'm never coming back, bro. I gotta show you what I saw on Facebook today. And it's I couldn't believe what I was reading. But I can't mention that on the air, but I'll tell you in Discord. All right, we got one game left on the docket. Holy cow. Before we do that, we take a pause for the cause. If you guys want to hang out with me immediately following the stream, I'll be in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP Discord. Jared Allen has replaced James Harden in the All-Star game. Hey, he needed size, so he didn't have to go Gobert after all. Check out the NBA voice chat here. I'll be in here up until lock, a little bit after lock today. So if you guys want to hang out, shoot the breeze, talk some plays, create and carve out some player pools, I'll be in there while I'm making my player pools over here in the worksheets DraftKings and Fanduel respectively, tiering my player pool, and then talking about exposures that I'll have, and also just processing the news of the slate. You'll get access to the spreadsheet, the projections, the prop detector, and we'll share some of our favorite props as well for Prize Picks tonight. So come be part of that. We'd love to have you. Anyone liking Nurkic? I definitely don't mind Nurkic. Utah's off tomorrow and play Lakers on Wednesday. I think they rest Gobert one more day. I think they definitely can afford to rest Gobert another day, but it just makes you wonder, right? Maybe they think, all right, let's get Gobert a tune-up game against a free Rockets team and for the Lakers, So plenty of ways to spin that. Should we play the Clippers for value? Well, we're going to talk about the Clippers right now. For that, one more pause for the cause. If you guys haven't signed up for Prize Picks yet, right there, do it. Sign up using code GUNDACKER or this link right here in the chat. I'll put it in there. They will double your first deposit up to $100. Most of you guys are already on there, but some of you guys are missing out on the fun. Come be part of that. And they support me for you to play over there. And it's a whole lot of fun. So go check out Prize Picks. Use code GUNDACKER when you sign up. And get that first deposit doubled. $20 becomes $40. None of that slow drip. Don't have to play through it 8 times. Nothing like that. How many minutes of fantasy points do you project for Cade Cunningham for tonight? He only played 21 minutes his first game back from his hip injury. So, good note. I have him for 27 minutes. And if we look at the rotation for the Detroit game last time out against the Hornets, Cade Cunningham did not touch the court in the fourth quarter. So was it a blowout bench? Did he tweak something? Looks like the fourth quarter was Sadiq Bey, Olenek Magruder, Ham Diallo, Killian Hayes. So, Doug, would you at least think that it's possible that the blowout kept him from 28 minutes? I think it is, right? Sadiq Bey played, but Jeremy Grant didn't. Kojo didn't. Isaiah Stewart didn't. So it looks like it was a little bit of a blowout-induced 21 minutes. So I put him at 27. 27-28 seems a little bit more realistic, right? Lakers are a tune-up as well. Come on, J. Cole. Stop that. Stop that. Yeah. Gosh dang it. Thoughts on Darius Bazley on DK? Yeah, Bazley's getting a lot of minutes, 35 plus. Derek Favors should play this one, but they have a really limited front court. So it's like Bazley, Pokusevski, Favors, and I think Isaiah Roby's in the mix. But I think Bazley's live for 35 plus minutes, right? De'Aaron Fox over 22 points, can it hit? Yeah, I think De'Aaron Fox over 22 is live. Sabonis is live as well. I'm somewhat interested in the Sabonis assist prop too, right? Do you like the under for Cade points prop at 15.5? No, I probably wouldn't want to sweat that against the Wizards. I like it. It's one of those where I'm not betting the over either. You know what I mean? I'm not sweating that. Not at least in a Prize Picks setting. Warriors at the Clippers, next game on the docket. Last game on the docket, the main event, the late night hammer. You want the hammer? Then go home and get the hammer. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, Jonathan Kuminga, Kevin Looney taking on Reggie Jackson, Terrence Mann, Marcus Morris, Nick Batum, and Ivica Zubac. One step forward, 2 steps backwards for the Clippers. They traded for Norman Powell to be a piece that can give them 20 points a night. Well, unfortunately for them, Norman Powell breaks his foot. So they're back to the drawing board, and we could be looking at more Reggie, more Terrence Mann, more Marcus Morris. The difference is now there's no Eric Bledsoe to back up this guard situation, and Luke Kennard has a Q tag on him. So for a 6-point spread, perhaps surprisingly just a 6-point spread, we might be able to key on a couple of these Clippers for a little bit of value. Let's go pull up the LA Clippers depth chart here via the NBC Sports Edge depth chart. Really, really nifty page. If you guys don't have this, throw it in the bookmark, right? Luke Kennard questionable. Left ankle soreness. And then, of course, like we said, Norman Powell out. And Powell could be 20 points in a game. So without Eric Bledsoe, do we get 30-plus minutes of Reggie Jackson? Is 35 minutes Terrence Mann at 4,300? Something we can get to with any level of confidence. Certainly projects like a solid value. Last couple games for him, 35, 31 minutes, 28, 37 fantasy points against Dallas, would certainly take, high 20s into a 30 fantasy point result here. So might be leaning on Terrence Mann a little bit more on DK than his Fanduel price, $1,300 salary savings. And then Marcus Morris also might step up here and pick up some slack. So maybe we can put alsos and mites to rest here and try and get us a more definitive style. So let's put Reggie, more definitive style of play. Let's put Reggie and Marcus Morris on the court. Let's just start taking off everyone, right? For this season, we only have to worry about Paul George. Bledsoe, we take off. I guess we can take Powell back off. And I don't know, what is this net back? 28% usage rate on Reggie Jackson, 24% assist rate. Now let's put Terrence Mann on the court. How many minutes you gave to Mann from OKC? Oh, that's fine, Pat. If you guys have questions that involve other games, drop them in chat. I'll try and revisit them real quick before I get out of here. Terrence Mann on the court with Morris and Reggie Jackson. Looks like Reggie Jackson's leading the squad in fantasy points per minute, 23% assist rate. Nothing crazy, so it could be somewhat unremarkable. And then we know guys like Amir Coffey could play deep minutes at a cheap price point as well. They added Robert Covington, kind of thriving as a front court big man, and maybe in this space, in this pace, in this spot, you might see a little bit more Rocco than Zubac anyway. So I'm a little bit confused as what to do with the Clippers. I'm not getting a massive projection on anyone in particular, but I think Terrence Mann on DK, the price is pretty low. And then Amir Coffey. If we all think that Coffey can get deep 30 minutes under 4K, I'd probably take a shot on it here and there. Wouldn't be a core play, but the minutes are sometimes minutes just equal money by accident. So I don't mind getting a little bit of that. On the Golden State Warriors side, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. So we mentioned Curry on the court with Klay Thompson. Did a little bit of in-depth talking about this on the PrizePicks show preceding this. By the way, we'll be doing another PrizePicks show every day, every weekday, including tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central. And we ran the numbers on Curry and Klay together on the court. And we have a 22% usage rate for Curry with a 28% usage rate for Klay with a 33% assist rate for Curry. Klay Thompson has evolved his minute restriction to about 30 minutes, right? Last couple games, 30 on the dot. The fourth quarter of that last game, he went absolutely bananas, but the expectation is the same, 15 plus shot attempts, while Steph Curry's dishing him the rock, and most of those shot attempts being via the three ball. I think one of the more positively correlated things we can do tonight, more so on the PrizePicks card, is maybe look at Curry over 6.5 assists with Klay Thompson over 18.5 real points. Something to think about there. And then we also just think about how bad the Clippers have been at really everything lately. And then, defending the three has not been their strong suit. And we've seen, Luka Doncic go nuts. I almost said Luka Garza. How many of you wrestling fans would have got that reference? Would have been something to keep an eye on. So Wiggins also 6,200, 6,100. I'm looking for 30 plus fantasy points. I think it's viable here. But the bulk of my interest is on Steph and Klay. And Klay probably a little bit more so for the PrizePicks and prop betting side only. I think almost 7K for a 30-minute restriction. Little hard to click with a high level of confidence, but Curry always has a chance to be a top 5 scorer on a slate. Just feels like with Klay in the mix, I'm expecting more from the Klay side than anything else, right? All right, let's get caught up on chat before we move on and get out of here, right? Thanks for answering. Do you think Devin Vassell over 12.5 points? Yeah, I think Devin Vassell kind of picking up that Derek White role. Playing those 30 minutes, double-digit shot attempts. A lot of his shots are going to be from behind the arc. Maybe he's been extra efficient lately, but in a 230 total, I think Devin Vassell definitely bodes well to pick up some points. 12.5, I don't know, maybe 12.5 is like the right price. What are we at? 12.5 points. 1.5 threes is an intriguing option, because he will chuck a decent chunk of threes. But yeah, I didn't think 12.5 is fine. You like Fox 40 plus fantasy points tonight? Oh, 40 plus fantasy points. Why did my brain read that the other way? I think I have him barely over 40, but I still have him over 40, right? So we got him listed at 38 and a half. I don't know if that line has moved. I haven't refreshed it, but my initial projection had him at 44 Fanduel or PrizePicks points. So yes, the short answer would be yes. Kuzma or Randall. I think Randall gives us a higher floor. They probably have a similar range of outcomes, but I'm leaning Randall a little bit more, and maybe that's a mistake. But but that's what I am. Fox is at 38. They're still at 38. All right, cool. Mr. Taran, appreciate that sub, man. Welcome to the channel. That's a stat I used to ask you about a couple years ago. Assist to points, player to player. Yeah, I want to get some more advanced stuff into the spreadsheet, maybe during the downtime of the All-Star break. It's just so hard to find advanced analytics. While they are becoming a thing in football and basketball, they're still not as productive as they are in baseball. Baseball analytics are 1-to-1 on basketball and NFL. At least in my opinion, there's so much team aspects involved, and that we just never get a large sample size anyway to over rely on them. So I didn't code a lot of advanced analytics in it, but I do think some of the more positive advanced analytics that should be leaned on is like unrealized assist rate, and then who's correlating the most from scoring off of passes and whatnot. So maybe that's something we can get coded into the sheet, but I don't like to get crazy, because I think like plus minus and I don't know, plus minus and obscure stats, like I'm gonna say obscure, but you know what I'm saying. There's a lot of metrics that people rely on for NBA that I don't think are as strong as people want them to be when they're making their arguments. And plus minus is definitely one of the most egregious ones. Highest projected scorer tonight for fantasy is Jokic, and it's a pretty big gap between Jokic and the next man. Devin Vassell or Johnson. Is that Keldon Johnson? I'm assuming. That's so close, because I'm gonna have a lot of both. Because I think that's the game that I'm gonna have as much exposure as I can get to, because of the 230 plus total and the tight spread. Man, I don't know, man. I feel like my knee jerk reaction is to say Johnson, but Devin Vassell has been pretty good himself, pretty efficient too, and against in this spot. So I don't that's not really a snap call. I think they might even offer a similar range of outcomes, and if we just lean on the projection for that game, which is I got Vassell at 29-27 and Johnson 32-31. So I guess if we're pinching pennies, Johnson has the better raw point projection, but it's definitely it's a coin flip, really. Kuzma and Middleton are priced right next to each other on FanDuel and DK. I'm clicking Kuzma. Is that a mistake? No, actually, Doug, I'm curious about that. It seems like anytime Giannis gets ruled out midday, we just expect like 40+% ownership on Middleton and Drew. That's probably what I haven't looked at ownership yet, but that's probably what you'd expect today as well. So Kuzma might actually be the contrarian play, and he's been Mr. 40+ without Dinwiddie, Beal, and Montrezl Harrell in the mix. And I don't know how many more games we got with no Porzingis, but Kuzma should be the guy that thrives and makes it happen. Captain. Bars. What up, Arizona drama? What's your favorite spend ups today, Gun? Hope you enjoyed the Super Bowl. I did, man. Odell got him a ring. What did it cost us? Everything. An ACL. Favorite spend up? Jokic goes without saying. I got Kuzma Kuzma and Drew Holiday are probably two of the better points per dollar plays at above 7,800. And in Middleton, I have a decent number on. So maybe I try to get those guys in there. I wonder how strong a balanced lineup, and by balance I mean not 10K guys, looks like tonight. Maybe not even 9K guys. But favorite spend up would probably be Jokic or DeJounte. Probably DeJounte, just getting extra involved in everything in a 234 total. It seems like some way or another he's going to be involved in a 60 fantasy point game, right? Who's tier 1 for today? What up, Mike? Tier 1. in terms of guys I'm gonna have the most exposure to, it's probably gonna be like Drew Holiday, probably Middleton, but I'm not sold on Middleton just yet. Being a tier 1, I'm gonna have a lot of them, but and then Io DeSumo on DraftKings I think is too cheap. Under 6K for potentially 40 minutes and a 230 total with a over 24-25% assist rate. I just think that's gonna net me more than 30 pretty commonly, right? Tied with 750 people in the $1 million NFL. Yo, that part, man. Somebody else told me that too earlier. So you guys were what do they call it? Eskimo brothers for $1 million? Is that the right term? What did I just say? No. Oh, why? Why did I say that? Been dropping the clue on folks all day. Did you catch the concept of the halftime show? I did. Maybe I'll rewatch it for more, but obviously there was definitely a lot of social justice hints involved, but I enjoyed it. You know, you guys know me. What about for PrizePicks? So PrizePicks, off the top of my head, and this might change. We're gonna get in that voice chat here in a minute and talk it all over. But on PrizePicks, I was digging. What were we digging? We were digging probably Drew Holiday fantasy points. I don't know. Drew Holiday fantasy points was at 43. I'm slight on the over. I think the Sumo assist I might flirt with. I don't think that's going to be a core one, but 30 fantasy points seems pretty low when I got him at 37. So 6-point gap there. I think I get behind some of that. And I didn't have I think Randall's intriguing to me. Randall becomes even more intriguing if we get like Noah Mitchell Robinson, but Randall without RJ Barrett, it's been over 30% usage rate, and I think against the Thunder front court, I can get behind some clicks there. But we'll organize it, and it'll be in the spreadsheet. And then Josh has listed his favorite props in the prop detector, so we'll chop all that up here in just a bit, right? Like Holiday over Middleton, I think I'm kind of leaning that way too, but it's not like a super aggressive take or lean or nothing like that. Chat, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get into that Discord. If you guys got anything else for me, twitter.com/gundacker. Hopefully you guys have a great Valentine's Day. Take care of your bae, and maybe your bae will take care of you. Can you use a promo code on PrizePicks even if you deposited before? No, I don't believe you can, but it's okay. It's okay. I get it. It happens. Maybe PrizePicks, if enough people steam, they'll give me some cool bonus I can do. I saw some other sites get to post like a card and people get to tail it, so maybe I can get into that level. But I need more people to sign up using the code. Concept team was the house that Dre built. Dre signed all of the artists in LA. Oh, okay. I mean, that makes sense too. I also saw some different concepts with kneeling and prison suits and stuff like that, but I love it. I love that art, so I might have to go back and watch it. I was just really zoning out and enjoying the music. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you. I'm heading to the Discord. I'll be back tomorrow for the PrizePicks show, and then we'll have the DFS show at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. You guys are the greatest. Where are we at on likes? 128. The best, literally the best. I love you guys. Appreciate you making part of my day, be part of your day. I'll see you guys next time. Good luck, God bless, and go win some money.